Hey everybody, today I just wanted to go over 10 ways I get myself to do things that I don't want to do. I'm going to go over them one at a time. Some of them are like hacks and other ones are a little bit more long term. But I think that if you could just find one or two things and stick to those, then they could really help with if you have a problem of not doing the things you want to do. And I used to have a major problem with this. I would consider myself identified as a procrastinator all the way through high school and my first year or two of college. I began picking up these different things, and many of these are the things that now I would consider myself the opposite of a procrastinator. Okay, number one, don't ask bad questions. And this is something that can help with almost every facet of life. And so it's like when you wake up in the morning, don't ask yourself, am I tired? Do I need more sleep? Those are just bad questions. They're the wrong time to ask yourself those questions. If you said you wanted to wake up at 6 a.m. and your alarm goes off, don't ask yourself bad questions, just act. The same thing goes with like when I jump into the cold water. I don't ask myself questions. Do I want to do this? Why am I doing this? I'm so stupid. I don't ask any of those questions. I did my research. I know why I'm doing it, and I get into the water. And with don't ask bad questions kind of comes with don't think, just do. If you have to do a countdown, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then do it. That can be another method to use, but don't ask yourself these bad questions that are purposefully pointed in a direction that will harm you. If you ask yourself, why am I so stupid? You're going to answer that question, and there's no positive way to answer that question. So you can also practice with asking yourself the opposite of those questions. What did I do right today? Maybe things like that to help undo the negative questions you're asking yourself. Number 2, find your true why. This and find your passion seem to be the two things that all self-help gurus do, and I've definitely been a part of looking into that, and all I found is it made me more depressed. So I think for me, finding your why means finding the thing that is underneath the obvious. So cold plunging. Why do I cold plunge? I cold plunge because it makes me feel energized. It makes me feel alive. But if that was my reason for cold plunging, what happens on the day I wake up and I already feel amazing? I feel energized. I feel great. I'd start to ask myself bad questions, and I'd start to be like, why am I doing this? I already feel amazing. Because it doesn't feel great to get in it, it sucks. Or maybe I jump in and for a few days or a week, it doesn't give me that energized feeling. Then it's going to be really hard to continue on. So my why for doing it is something that is within my control, and that is willpower. Every single day that I do it, I prove to myself that I'm somebody with the willpower to do it. And that really matters to me. And this kind of goes into number 3, which is create an identity, not a goal. Creating the identity that I'm someone with the willpower to jump into the freezing cold water every day is very important to me. And if I would have made my goal jump into the water 365 days or every single day this year, I probably would have quit very quickly. And so it wasn't about jumping into the cold water every day. It was about creating the identity that I'm somebody with the willpower who can go look at the water every single day and jump in. And so that means when I got sick, if my goal had been to get into the water every single day, I would have felt like a complete failure, but it's not. Because it's a shift in identity, not a goal, I have the ability to go, it doesn't make sense for me to do this right now. I would be harming myself. It would be a negative thing. It's not something to prove to myself. And so then when I did get better and I started jumping into the river again, I got to prove to myself all over again that I'm somebody with the willpower to do that. And because I do that consistently, I consistently prove to myself that I am, and that shapes my identity. It's from James Clear's book, Habits, and it's the idea that if you want to become a runner, don't say, I want to run a marathon, because then once you run the marathon, you'll stop running. Instead, become a runner. Identify yourself as a runner. And so what would a runner do? Maybe to you, a runner is somebody who runs every single week. And so you make it your job to run 5, 6, whatever times a week. And if one week you can only run 3 times a week and the next you run 6, it doesn't matter because you're still moving forward towards the identity that you are a runner. Because runners don't run every single day. They have good days and they have bad days. And so when you shape your identity around the running, it's much easier to make mistakes and keep going. And it's much easier to continue with those good habits over the long run. Number 4, sometimes what you need is a great day at work and not a vacation or a break. I found this one to be very helpful for me, especially when I was working full time. But even now, there are weeks and there are times where my writing is not where I want it to be, or where I'm not putting out as much with YouTube as I would like. And the same was true at work, where I would just be having a bad week and I'm like, I need a break. And I listened to this and I tried it. And the next day I went to work, I just gave it my 100%. And I walked away feeling amazing. And I realized what I really did need was a good day at work and not a break. But that's not to say we don't get burnout. I've been there, and there is a point where you truly do need a break. But sometimes what you need is just a good day at work. Be kind to the future you. Being kind to the future you can be really small things. So it could be if you just boiled water and you know you're going to use it later, refill it up. The reason I say be kind to future you is sometimes it's easier for us to do things for someone else than it is for ourselves. So you can kind of see this future you as a different person and separate it from yourself. And a lot of times that can make it easier. And that can be like you really need to vacuum. And instead of vacuuming for yourself, vacuum for the future you who wants to sit down later tonight and watch TV with a clean floor. And so you can use this as a lot of ways of kind of creating this future persona of yourself that's a friend. And it's a lot easier for us to do things for a friend than it is to do them for ourselves. And with this comes negotiate with yourself. If you want to get in shape, but you absolutely hate running, then don't make running on your list. Do a circuit, bike, negotiate with yourself and do what you're willing to do. The same, like maybe you're not willing to jump into a river every day, and maybe you're not even willing to take a cold shower, but maybe the last 30 seconds of your hot shower, you're willing to take a 30-second cold shower. Anything that's moving you forward is a positive thing, so be kind to yourself and negotiate with yourself so that you will be able to do this more long term. Do it now, do it right. Number 6. What this means is it's very similar to this previous one. If you take your keys out of your pocket, don't just set them down somewhere. This has saved me so much time. My phone, my keys, my wallet all have a place. So they're either in my pocket or they're on my specific nightstand. I don't give myself another option. So my keys do not go on the counter ever. They go in those specific places. And you can do this with a lot of different things. Like if you take a pen out of the drawer, put it back in the drawer when you're done. It feels like these little things are very large inconveniences, and it doesn't make sense to put it back right now, or I'm in a rush right now. But I found that it's a guaranteed way to actually save your time. And it really helps not allowing yourself to get to the point where your house is a mess, your room is a mess, whatever it is. So if you just finished doing the laundry, fold the laundry. And I noticed that the more I do this, the easier it gets. And you can start with really small things like not setting your keys down wherever so you don't have to look for them for 10 minutes every morning. Number 7, only give yourself 2 to 3 tasks per day. And I feel like this is one of the biggest and easiest things to do. It's really easy to write down a list of 12 things and be like, I have to do all of these things. But how many times have you created this list that has to get done today and it doesn't get done today and nothing happens? And then the next day and then the next day. Just create your 2 to 3 tasks every single day, get them done, and pretty soon you'll be searching for more tasks because you don't have anything to do. Number 8, the 2-minute rule. Just do a task for 2 minutes. Give yourself true permission to stop at the end of that 2 minutes. And this is for when you just do not want to do something. Just 2 minutes. You don't want to do the dishes, just do the dishes for 2 minutes. And if at the end of that 2 minutes you're like, okay, I just want to finish, then just finish. But if you are like, I do not want to do this still, then give yourself the permission to stop and do it later. Number 9, this one's a Jordan Peterson one. Sit down in a room, look around, and ask yourself, if I only had 20 minutes, what would I improve about this room? And then spend the next 20 minutes doing it. This one is super beneficial. I've used this for maybe trying to organize a room, or if your kitchen's a mess and you're just not sure what to do, you can just sit down and go, if I only had 20 minutes, what would I do? And you'll start to realize, like, okay, I thought this clutter was really important and I thought this was, but really I just need to get those dishes done and I want this done. And then you just spend the next 20 minutes doing it, and whether it's done or not, you finish. And I've used this for our house, where I would just take 20 minutes a day and just clean, and it made a really big difference. And you can do this for yourself. Like, if I only had 20 minutes to maybe work on my fitness today, what would I do? And you can create just a little workout. And it's kind of with the negotiating. It helps you to truly negotiate with yourself something that you're actually willing to do. If I only had 20 minutes to clean the house, what would I do? And you just spend those 20 minutes and you get it done, and you can just be done for the day. It's an easy way to negotiate with yourself. Okay, number 10, try doing your habit every day or with only one day off per week. This is probably one of the ones that has transformed my habits and everything that I do the most. And I used to have a really hard time waking up. And so I find that 2 days off per week is too much for me. And so I would wake up at 6 a.m. every day, and then on the weekend I would not wake up at 6 a.m. And then I would just crash and burn, and I'd start waking up at 6:45, 7, hitting the snooze, doing all of these things. So over time, I had started doing everything 7 days a week, all of the habits that were really important to me. And I've slowly shifted that to doing it 6 days a week. And I attempted to do only doing the sleep 6 days a week, but I found that it doesn't work. I have to go to sleep and wake up at the same time every day, or it's really easy for me to just start waking up later and later and going to bed later and later. And so if you have something you really want to do, like you want to become a writer, you want to become an artist, or you want to start your YouTube channel, instead of trying to work on it a bunch, maybe just try working on it for an hour every single day. Because even on a Sunday, on your day off, it might not be the most enjoyable thing, but there's some time in your day, like maybe you wake up before everybody else, where you can just spend an hour or two working on that project. And it's not like an absolute necessity. It could be 6 days a week. I just found that I really have an easy time derailing myself if I don't work on something every single day. Okay, these are my 10 ways I get myself to do things that I don't want to do. I hope that if someone is struggling with these things like I used to, and I still struggle with, I still have to go through these, then hopefully they can just pick up 1 or 2 of these. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, and if you enjoy this content, please give me a follow. Have a good one.